Hello, everybody. My name is Sri Talot, and we are here to show you how to build characters and how to build teams properly here in Duet Night Abyss. So, without further ado, I don't like to dilly dally. Let's get straight into it, right? So, first things first, ladies and gentlemen, you must know your
Who's the target
character.
today?
Okay? Because a lot of people will be building, I want to pair Lynn with someone like, Daphne maybe, right? And you don't know the reason why you would pair her up with Daphne because you don't know what she does. So, each and every single character has their roles, right? They have their respective roles, they have their respective playstyles. In order to get or maybe understand how to pair teams with the character that you have, understand them first. So first, let's understand a character, right? So I'll put an example. How do you check a certain character? What do they do, right? So here's how you check them. So first, you check their roles. It's up here on the character panels on their information or attributes. Just click this one here and you'll see what they do, right? So as for Lynn, Lynn is a DPS. She has a consonance weapon and she is focusing on weapon based damage. So we kind of get what she kind of does. But for the most part, learning what she does on her skills is even better, right? So on her skills, as you can see, this is Deadly Blossom. This does, well, it's basically a skill damage skills and it applies a laceration damage, which is basically a damage over time that is applied up to 6 stacks, or I believe it's 10 stacks for me here. And it will cost sanity cost, right? And then at the second time, her ultimate is called Gunpowder Revelry. Gunpowder Revelry is basically her ultimate in this game. And you have to keep note that you have to really read the skills because this says here it switches the range weapon to Hansel and Gretel. So you have to really, read the description of the skills because sometimes you might assume some weapons work on this character, but they don't actually work, right? And I'll be explaining that later. And then the passives is this is very very core for team building because this is where you're mainly looking into like, I will pair this character because the passives just fit my team. So reading the skills, reading what they do is very essential to character building and understanding the character that you're going to be maining in this game, okay? And another thing is when you're looking at the weapons, you also have to understand what the character does. So I am using currently Blue Current Pulse because, well, currently this character is a bit, I want a certain weapon at the end, but this one also works fine just for now. But you should know what weapons you should be targeting because, again, the resources in this game, they're not limited. You can definitely farm them, but they're a bit grindy. So to save you time and to not waste time, aim for the ones or target specific weapons that you think is vital for your character. So, how do we look on that? So now we know that this character is mostly skill based and has her own weapon which is called a consonance weapon. Okay. So now we get it. What kind of weapon are we getting for her? So, we look at the store right now, look at the shop, look at here on the items, and some weapons cannot be you usually just get from the covert missions and do the covert commissions, but safe to say that all of them are here. Some of them are locked behind dungeons, but it's better to know where you would get them and know the weapons that you are gonna be targeting for your character. So I would usually go on the items, look at the weapons, and then I would go for the dual weapon section, and there's currently 3 here, right? So, we'll check on them, each and every one of them, and then see if this weapon might fit our character because of what she do and what kind of damage she does. So first of all, X-Crest Duo, and this is, spoiler alert, might be the best one for her because this just gives us, let me move my camera here on our recording. Here we go. Okay. So, this weapon right here gives us skill damage 24%, right? It's good because if you understand how Lin works, it's a bit annoying to trigger some effects if we're still going to shoot. So basically, what happens to Lin is that her weapon basically becomes a stat stick. But this is only for her. Now, if you understand what your character does, then it might be easier, right? So understanding the character is key so that you would understand, okay, this skill is for stat stick. It's nice. I like this, especially if you know how to do the rotation of a character. Now let's check the other weapons. This one. Okay, skill duration, nice. Lynn does need skill duration because of how her skills works. And then this one also increases the dual pistol damage if we're going to deal damage with this weapon. And I can confirm, if you are a Lynn main, you should shoot this weapon first before you go to your ultimate so that you get that sweet 45% damage increase in your dual weapons or dual pistols. It's quite nice. And then you have to check the other one as well, like this one. This one is nice because it gives crit chance. When you deal crit damage, this weapon grants multi-shot. But if you understand how Lin works, this is quite, it's unnecessary because you don't need multi-shot on your character because your character is already a multi-shot character if you know how Lin works. Her ultimate just clears the entire screen, right? So, let's assume that you guys pick, okay, I'm gonna pick Extra's Duel. That's the weapon I want for her. I think it's the best. So now you're going to look at the covert commissions and let's assume that you guys have already unlocked it, right? It's on trial rank 51. It will be annoying, but let's assume that this Blue Current Pulse is the one. Now you will need to farm it. Now if you guys know how to farm this, you just basically get one entry and then you go to combat, you go to commissions, you go to covert commissions, and then here are like characters, weapon, and demon wedge. If you're specifically farming for weapons and you have the the secret letter, then you would click either of the modes and then you would select the secret letter and then you would click and then you would confirm. That's how you would do it, and then hopefully you'll get all of the materials needed to craft this thing because you still need to craft this. So you need the blueprint and all of this, all of this two here specifically, and then some materials. That's basically it for the weapons, and this goes out for all of the weapons. Her second weapon and her main weapon, or basically there's no second and main weapon. They're both of the melee and range weapons, right? But at the same time, another thing that I would like to add, all of the stats, right? All of the stats that the weapon gives, like skill duration, and then the skill duration that is on this weapon, by the way, all adds up to your character. It doesn't only affect the weapon, it affects the entire character stats, right? Unless it is pointed out, like for example this one, you can only when you use this weapon you have increased crit chance or something like that. Where is this one? This one. Alright, when dealing damage with this weapon, something like that, it specifies that this weapon, when you do something in this weapon, it does this thing, or it gets this buff, or it does this effect, right? Only specifically. But as for stats, if it says crit chance 50%, it's crit chance 50% for your character, right? So take note of that one. As for genie mons, the genie mons are very specific. You need to get genie mons that are related to your element, depending on the character that you're using as a main damage, or the one that you're currently using. Like for example, if I'm using Lynn, then I don't have the dog genie mon, but I will use this because this increases her pyro attack and also gives us max HP, which is nice, and then also sanity is also nice for Lynn. So this is actually really, really nice. So you also have to check if this, what your character needs. Like does your character need more HP? If you increase your HP, does it increase damage? Like Psyche, or maybe you're somewhat like a full attack character, then you would find stuffs here that will buff your character's attack or your specific element. So you just need to, basically match the right color, match the right element for your character. Now, that's basically for the character. I mean, the introns are very easy to understand. It's basically the duplicates. You just need to farm them, similar to how you would get a character in Duet Night Abyss. But the most important thing is, I believe, the teams. So let's talk about the teams, right? So now we understand what Lynn does. We kind of get what she does. She does skill damage. She needs a lot of skill duration. She needs a lot of skill efficiency. And she's mainly pyro attack. Okay, great. What characters can we pair up with her? So there's a couple of characters here that is really, really good for a lot of content in the game. But mainly there are some highlights in here. So I would like to highlight the characters that I have currently for Lynn. Now, this character, Tabitha, is really good because she has a buff for skill damage. So when we specifically look at her skills, her first skill literally buffs your character for 10 seconds, and this is, by the way, the entire team. Yeah, also grant self and allies boost to skill damage. Really nice. So it's really great for Lynn. So okay, I need skill damage. I want this character. Nice. But the other thing is, what else can she do? So the nicest thing about Tabitha is the fact that she can summon tentacles to basically immobilize enemy. The tentacles will basically grab enemies and then it will be there on the field. Now you can actually shoot them while you're on your ultimate, and it's nice because everybody was just stacked in there. It's so nice to see you're clearing the entire screen with Lynn. But at the same time, like I said, the passives are like super core when you're looking into teams that you're building. So when you look at the passive, this one is just her passive, right? This one is just for her. But when you look at the last part of her passive, this one increases skill damage for self and allies. And I would like to highlight that you have to read this very carefully. Because sometimes it says here that it will increase damage for self but for specific teams. This one, if it says allies, meaning everybody gets the buff, right? So it's nice. So I like to have her because it's just so good. Her buff is so general and I like it, right? And then it's just generally a good pair. But you have, for example, let's grab a character that's also a buffer. Let's say who is buffing here? So let's say this girl right here, Truffle and Filbert.
Wakey, wakey.
So when you look at her passive, right? Here it's just for her, right? But this one at the end, it is too specific. So increases result for self and allies if 2 or more characters on the team share the same element. So it's really nice. Meaning this character is very specific and it should be paired with animo teams or a mono animo teams, right? Just to make that use, to utilize this passive. It's very important, guys. And at the same time, this character right here, which is also another very good buffer for Lynn and most characters actually, because they offer a very, very general buff.
Its true destiny.
So, when we look at his buffs
must
here,
be made.
oh my god, he's still speaking. Okay, so this character here can buff weapon damage boost. It's really good because most of the characters in this game are just related to their weapons, right? And especially if they're consonance weapons, consonance weapons characters, this is really good. At the same time, he also provides a trigger probability boost for some characters, like let's say Berenica on her Introns 6 skill, which needs trigger probability boost, or some characters that have abilities that need trigger probability boost. This character is just super good. But the main highlight is the last one, which is another buff, and it's general. It increases everybody. So you should be looking into character passives, right? Very important. Now, okay, now that we are now a bit, we're looking into the passives, we're looking into what they're doing and stuff like that. How do we build the teams? How do we construct them? So I'll go for a baseline. Let's go with Lynn, right? I'll delete this one so that I can show you guys how we
Wakey, wakey.
do the team building. Okay, so we click Lynn. I have a Demon's Wedge set one already set
Who's
up
the
for
target
her.
today?
And then you would go here and then click the weapon that you're using. For me, I'm going to be using Pyro Thirst for the skill duration. And then I'm going to go for this one because the only one that I can pick, which is the Blue Current Pulse. Now we've selected the weapon based off what we know. And then the other side is, okay, what do we need from her? So we can get more benefit if we use this because she gets the passive. She gets the Pyro attack, basically making her deal more damage and a bit tanky. So we'll select that one. Or if there's better ones, then you can basically equip her. But just make it related to her because she has Pyro. And now for the teams. Obviously, we're going to be pairing Tabitha for her. And then Tabitha, if you understand what she does, this is basically the weapons, right? So the weapons, like characters have specialized weapons. Basically, specialized weapons, if a character is using a specialized weapon, they have higher base attack on those weapons if they're using their specialized weapon. So that is why if you're maining someone that's probably, it says there specializes in weapon, greatsword, use a greatsword. Don't use katana, don't use a sword. On some cases, it's optional, it's kind of situational, but if you want to really do more damage and have the best possible stats for attack, then equip their specialized weapon, okay? As for Tabitha, I'm going to be equipping this bow because she specializes in bow, and this bow is amazing as well because it provides buff when you crit. It's so good. And then this one, Daphne. I have Daphne in here because Daphne on level 60, or actually when you ascend her to level 60, or somewhat, the level of level 60, she has a crit chance buff on at the end, 40% crit chance buff at the end. I'll show it later. So we'll equip her. She is mainly assault rifle, so we'll equip her assault rifle in here. So we're gonna equip this here, and that's basically it. The backpack preset will be to your liking, whatever you put in there, like potions or character spawns or whatever. For me, I have it set up. It's just for character spawns. So we save. Now that's what it looks like, right? Now I'm gonna arrange this one first. Put it back here.
Who's the target today?
Or edit the team name first because I don't wanna be annoyed for later and change it on the stream. Here we go. Save that.
Where are we heading for?
So that's how you basically look at the team. So I will also need to highlight
Who's the target
this
today?
for the weapons. So the weapons. So okay, let's compare this one, right? So we all know that Lin is mainly greatsword user. So of course, if she's using greatsword, the attack of the greatsword is 186.5. But if we go to Truffle and Filbert, and then we look at the melee weapon, the damage is decreased. So, it's just something that you guys should know, right? Because she does not specialize in greatsword, of course, her damage is going to be lower, obviously, right? So we're going to need to equip a spear on her. Now, if we actually look spear, her damage on the spear is
Who's the target
145.
today?
Right here. A 45 spike
leave.
attack, right? So, if we look at Lin, and
Who's the
we
target today?
look at the spike, or sorry, the spear, 121. So that's the difference, okay? So it's very important, guys. And as for the demon wedges are kind of, situational. It depends on what kind of build
Who's the
you're building
target
for a
today?
character, or what the character needs, right? So it's very subjective. There is no best build for a character. There will be, but as of the moment, it just depends on what you need and what's available to you, right? For me, this is the only one that's available. Each weapon has separate demon wedges, by the way. So make sure to equip the ones that are best and you think is best for those weapon, for the demon wedges that they will need on those kits. So that's basically it, guys, on understanding a character. So to put it into practice, I've explained everything. Let's try to analyze one character and let's see what we can build around that character. So let's say we're going to be building Berenica.
Let's go.
Right? Looking into her, she excels on sword and dual pistols. Okay, you need to give her a sword and a dual pistol so that she will deal more damage when using sword and dual pistols. Got it. Right. Now, she excels on a lot of stuff, but we can look into here and what she does, right? So basically, it's pretty much the same thing, right? Nothing really too special, nothing too really crazy. So DPS, consonance weapon, weapon damage. Okay, sure. Now, let's look into her skills. What kind of damage does she do in her skills? She does an Umber damage AoE. This is basic scaling of skill damage, right? And then we look at her buff. When she does her Nether Flames form, what kind of damage does she do? Let's see here. Skill damage, skill damage, skill damage. So basically, you have an idea on, okay, this character's skill damage, right? Maybe Tabitha's good for her, right? Because now you know that character buffs off a lot of skill damage buffs. Maybe she's a great pick. But we'll see the passives on the bottom. There we go. Effect trigger probability 17%. So this is when she is dealing damage with Faint Light or Sword, there is a chance to restore sanity for Berenica. So, meaning, remember that the MC has a trigger probability on his passive. It's very useful. So meaning, another character is viable for her, especially to just activate this passive. So after using Nether Flames, the next use of Faint Light will not consume sanity. This one increases attack for self and Umbro allies. So this is good attack boost for her. But if you're specifically pairing her up with another Umbro character, let's say Fantasio, then Fantasio will have an increased attack in the team. But I guess you won't be using that because you're probably maining
Let's
her.
go.
So now let's see what she does. So okay, she's a sword user. She has trigger probabilities, and probably she eats a lot of stamina because of her ultimate. And I think, that's why a lot of people build skill efficiency on her when they're, putting the demon wedges. Now, let's look into the weapons, right? So, she is sword user. So let's go to the shop. Let's go here. Let's go to the weapons, and let's look at all of the possible swords. Okay. So there's basically 5 swords we're looking here. Let's look at them one by one. Let's see what they do. Okay, this one gives character attack 60%. Very straightforward. That won't fail you. So nice overall pick. Let's see the other ones. This one is a trigger probability 75%. Ooh, nice. When I hide your character, there we go. So this is kind of okay. We're not picking this because this is for hydro characters, so obviously not in the line of pickup. Let's see this one. This is a remnant reminiscence. So this one, let's see this one. So attack range +1. Okay, nice. Landing a crit with this weapon has a 33 chance to restore sanity. Can trigger once every 0.5 seconds. This is nice because on her ultimate or her nether flames form, she consumes sanity every time she uses that skill. So this is a very, very viable weapon on her if you're interested on keeping her sanity or her combat resource up and steady, right? And then let's see the other one. Let's see this one. Ingenious Tactics. Defense 50%. So not really, this character is not really a defensive scaling character. So this is off the table. So let's see the Wandering Rose. Let's see the last one. So this one is a sword that has attack speed. Nice. When performing a charge attack with this weapon, there is a 28% chance to reduce resonance support cooldown. Okay. So for me, this is an okay weapon. The attack speed is a nice deal. But for me, in my opinion, well, if I was picking out a character or picking out a weapon for my Berenica, I would be using this weapon. Just because of its sanity restoring ability. And you know, if Berenica has her ultimate longer, she does more damage. So let's assume we're picking this up. Now we're going to go to covert commissions. We picked out a weapon. I have a weapon I want to pick. Let's get this one here. Let's purchase this one, and you would do it on the covert commissions missions. Good luck on getting the blueprint and the other things that you need to craft this weapon. Now let's also look into her dual pistols, right? Because she has dual pistols. So what dual pistols do we need for her, right? So I think this one is good because its skill damage is straight up buff. You know, a big difference, and it will just boost our damage overall. A very, very general weapon, and I like it on her. A solid pick. But how about this one? Blue Current Pulse. Skill duration is nice because, you know, skill duration on sanity consuming skills kind of reduces their sanity cost, right? Same with skill efficiency on those ultimates. However, we cannot really utilize the increased dual pistols damage because Berenica is not really gonna do dual pistol damage on her kit because it's mostly sword. So this is not gonna be kind of like an optional pick, but I would still go for the X-Crest Duo weapon. But how about the Sacrosanct Chorus? Let's see. Crit chance 50%. This is nice because again, the stats are a stat stick. Remember that on her weapon that we're going to be picking up on her, it's when she crits that we get sanity. So this weapon is actually very good for her because now we're mixing up a lot of stuff. See how this is forming, right? When it comes to building the character. So this is very important, guys. Take note of this, okay? So do this to all of your characters. Like, try to read out the weapon descriptions, try to find out what they're good at, what they're best at, and what their possible teams are. So we're building Berenica. Let's go out and build her. Okay, let's go to the armory.
Who's the target today?
And then we already have some preferences already on which teams we're going to be pairing with her. A lot of options actually, but let's go with the teams, right? So as for the teams, we're going to be building Berenica, obviously, right?
Let's
and
go.
then let's assume that the weapon that we have, we've already crafted the weapon. We're going to pick the crafted weapon that we selected for her. We grinded it for her. Let's select the dual pistol that we grinded for her. Let's select that. And then this character is I believe is an Umbro character. Wait. So we're going to look for something that can buff Umbro, right? So let's see here. If there's anything buff Umbro on my Ganimons. By the way, the reason why my Ganimons are not all available because I tried to farm this guy. But anyways, let's assume that this one buffs our character for, you know, Umbro or attack maybe, right? So let's select that one. And then we can go to the combat partner. and then we can select our teams. So there's a lot of teams here that you can pair with Veronica, but for me, the trigger probability chance I believe is better because I can get her sanity up alongside with the crit. So I'll go with the MC character, and the MC character is nicer up front because he's a bit tanky. So I would like him to have a probably, let's assume we have a sword for him, and then okay, she needs a lot of crit, right? So who else are we getting aside from this character here, Daphne, because of her 40% crit buff is really nice. But if you're going to be picking someone else, maybe I think I have enough crit already. I don't think I need Daphne anymore. You put in Tabitha. So it's up to you. You can this team is not locked into this team. It's more like I think this is good. I'll use this one, and the creativity just comes into play because now you're thinking like, okay, I think this is good. I think this is better, and I think this will do good. You can do tests if you want. You can try out the teams if you want, but this is a super good solution to the difficulty of character building because this essentially makes you um should we say knowledgeable of all characters because now you're investigating, okay, what does this character do, what's her specialized weapon, what's her main damage, and it's going to be very nice, right? So for me, we're still gonna go for Daphne, and then we're gonna go for, of course, she is assault rifle, we're gonna use that, save it, that's basically it, right? So, hopefully you guys learned a thing or two about character building here in Do It Night Abyss. It's been, 3 days and I have no sleep. So, it's a bit, it's a bit tiring. But I've had so much fun with this game. The combat is so good. And then I am still going to be playing this game for a long time. But, anyways, guys, that's it for today. Peace out. And thank you so much. Don't forget to follow us on Twitch, guys. And don't forget to follow us on TikTok. Thank you so much. GG's. See you in the next video.